bittersweet, as in yesterday's Eagles-Rams game, as in the Eagles win, so sweet, their quarterback loss, so bitter. Carson Wentz left the game in the third quarter after diving into the end zone for a touchdown that was ultimately called back. He is feared to be done for the season with a torn ACL. Here's his coach still holding out hope.
Until I know more tomorrow on him, you know, it's hard to say. But listen, there's a lot of leaders on that football team right now, and you saw it tonight.
All right, a lot to discuss in this game. Again, great win for the Eagles, but not without the curse of potentially losing their quarterback for this season. CC, are the Eagles good enough to make a Super Bowl run without Carson Wentz as their quarterback?
Well, going over the backup quarterbacks, and I think the situation in Minnesota is a great comparison. Not only did they lose Sam Bradford, Case Keenum being the backup, but now as far as Teddy. So Teddy is extra. But you have seen that the Vikings, that they are a team that wasn't carried by their quarterback, so it allowed them to be one of the best teams. They've been great defensive, great special teams. So the Philadelphia Eagles, I think that the Eagles actually have better personnel than the Vikings have, especially as far as their offensive line. Overall, I believe the Eagles' offensive line is better. I believe the Eagles' ability to run the football is a lot better than the Vikings. So I've seen the Vikings do it. Now, Case, they have the advantage because they've seen Case for 2 months. So they've adjusted the offense. But what I like to see yesterday was that Doug Peterson, what he decided to do when Foles came in the game was, because they have adopted a lot of the same offense that Chip Kelly had, where Foles was the starting quarterback. So their offense stayed exactly the same. So can they sustain that? I think because most teams don't keep the same offense, even though the coordinators and coaches, they lie to us and say that they do. But to watch him make critical throws on third down, just like Carson Wentz, that he does have some experience as a starter. He is athletic enough that they can run some zone read stuff that they've been very successful at. So if there is a team that's set up, I've seen the Vikings do it. I think that Philadelphia, right now with Nick Foles, is the best or one of the best quarterback to backup situations that we have in the league.
Just real quick, isn't that the ultimate advantage for a team when you can put in a backup quarterback and not have to revamp or re-overhaul your entire offense so that the rest of the team at least maintains some semblance of normalcy?
It really helps because you get the carryover of all the repetitions. When you saw Nick Foles go into the game, the Eagles did exactly what they've been doing. So now all that practice time, and players play with more confidence because they're doing the same thing.
Right.
It's better for the left tackle. It's better for the center. It's better for the tight end. And you could see that with the productivity with the Eagles. It didn't slip as they brought their backup into the game, Nick.
When Carson Wentz left the game, so he took the hit. If people didn't watch it, he took the hit on the play that was called back. He then stayed in the game for 4 additional plays, ended up throwing a touchdown pass to take the lead. When he left the field, after that play, in that moment, he was the NFL's MVP. He had just taken the lead. The team was going to have the best record in the league. He had just set the Eagles' franchise record for touchdown passes in a season, beating Sonny Jurgensen, beating Donovan McNabb. He was the league MVP in that moment. You cannot lose the league MVP and still go win the Super Bowl. Just can't. And I understand people are going to say, well, Nick Foles, you look at the list of backups, he stacks up pretty well compared to other teams' backups. That's something I'm not yet certain about. I know that Nick Foles was extraordinary in 2013. 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in 2013. It was one of the greatest out-of-nowhere years we've ever seen. But since that season in 2013, it's 23 touchdowns to 20 interceptions. It's a 78 quarterback rating. It's 6.5 yards per attempt. It's very typical NFL backup stuff.
But look at the competition, though, Nick. The number one competition in the NFC is who?
Minnesota.
With a backup
quarterback.
No. Do they have a backup?
Sure.
Okay, who's the next team? The Rams.
Yeah.
They just beat the Rams. Now, can you imagine Los Angeles playing in the Link at the end of January?
Yeah, I think they would be with Nick Foles starting.
You do realize it's going to be very, very cold.
I get that.
Oh, so I hope you calculate that.
Right. I agree.
That's a huge home field event. When you are Philadelphia, especially this fan base is craving for a winner. When they go to Los Angeles and they have a home field advantage, they have more fans than the Rams. The Rams had to do a silent count at home. Now, let's just speed this up to the end of January. All right? Let's just say they get to the NFC Championship game. I don't care who the quarterback is. All right? It's not as if golf is going to be ready to throw the ball in sub-zero weather. The Eagles can run the ball. They got multiple backs. So I believe that to be a huge advantage, and also based on the competition. New Orleans doesn't want to go to the cold and play. Minnesota's not a cold team, even though they live in a cold climate. So when you look at how it stacks up, yeah, they lost the MVP, but you can't look at that absent of who the competition is. The Falcons, Panthers, Saints, Rams, and Vikings. Sure. This is the year if you want to have a backup.
All right, I can't look at it absent who the competition is, but I can look at how they've gotten to 11-2, and this is something I know you're going to agree with me on, CC. Where the Eagles, I know it. I'm going out on a limb. I'm going to step out. Maybe I'll fall. Where the Eagles have been special this year. What has separated their offense from the other really good offenses to one of the very, very best offenses is production on 3rd and long. Yes. Carson Wentz has been a magician on 3rd and long. He completes 39% of 3rd and 10 pluses. The league average on 3rd and anything is 39%. Think about that. So you're in 3rd and forever, doesn't matter. And they're in 3rd and forever a lot. They are top 5 in the NFL for most 3rd and longs against.
Just like Charles Barkley said, the backup players, they play better at home. As a backup, Nick Foles playing all the games at the link would be a huge advantage. Yes, you can go to one stat, but based on the competition, I like Nick Foles and the Eagles based on who else is going to be there in the NFC.
CC, but hold on a second, though. But it's not one stat. Do you remember when we watched week one? We watched week 1 of this NFL season at my house together, right? Mm-hmm. And the play that I said, and I think you were more bought into Wentz than I was before the year, but we were somewhat skeptical. The play that I said, I was like, wow, like I might be a believer, was a play we then saw throughout the year. It looks like he's sacked, he spins out of it, and makes a huge play downfield. That's what's made the Eagles special this year. Nick Foles can't do that.
Okay, I'm not going to argue with it anymore. I mean, based on the competition, I believe it to be true. It will be played out on the field.
Question for you, because you hear a lot of this after an injury like this. Is there any part of you that looking at this injury would say maybe you don't let him, as you get closer to the end of the season, as you know you need your guy, would you ever say maybe he doesn't need to be running as much as he needs to be running?
His style of play?
His style of play. Just maybe let him run, but maybe don't put in the back of his ear, hey,
be more
we
cautious.
need you.
Yeah, well, this wasn't a design run. This is just trying to make something happen.
That's
now,
my point.
The only advice you can give them is when you're at the goal line, you have to get off the ground. Don't be on the ground because the leverage of the ground, which caused him to get injured. If you look at, they knew the DB was going to come in low. If he had jumped in the air like Cam, you don't have those collisions if you go in the air. Now, there is a landing eventually, but to me, at the goal line, you're better off getting off the ground as a quarterback because your legs aren't going to get compressed. And that's what happened right here. The DB came in, the linebacker came in from behind him, compressed that knee, and don't know what the results are, but I don't think it's going to be good.
I got one more question for you. When you say that one of the reports was they fear it's a torn ACL, another report was it might be a partial ACL tear. What does a partial ACL tear mean to you as far as playable, as far as a young player that is your franchise quarterback?
That means if it was you and Jenna, you guys would be getting an operation.
Would you?
For a professional athlete, they're going to try to hold you on there. They're going to put him in a knee brace, maybe have him rest a couple weeks. He'll play with the painkiller, but he still needs surgery on it. All right? If it was his MCL, a little bit different on the inside of the knee, easier to play with compared to an ACL.
But he would have a longer recovery time than I would, right? Like at least by what, 6 months?
I don't even think I'd need surgery. Like, why would I need surgery? I could have blown ACLs. I don't do anything athletic.
I could be back in a couple
You wouldn't need surgery. Jenna, you would be going for surgery today. Nick actually